Hey everyone, welcome back. My name is Zane and we've got some big news for Tesla fans. So a stock split has been announced by Tesla. This is incredible because it's perfect timing for me because I just bought a Tesla stock not too long ago. And this means it's going to turn into 3 stocks, I believe, because it's a 3-to-1 stock split. So I do believe that Tesla will be increasing their overall percentage of stocks by 3 times. Essentially moving from 1 billion in supply to 3 billion in supply. Automatically, I will have 2 more extra shares. But the thing is that the value stays the same. That's what happens when a stock split occurs. They can either decrease the supply or increase the supply and dilute it even more. And that's exactly what's going to happen. Now, my value is going to stay the same. It's just that I'm going to have more quantity, which I'm quite happy to say it's working quite well so far. Before we continue, allow me to say that this video is not financial advice. It's strictly for educational purposes and for entertainment. Now, Polestar announcing a proxy statement filed after the market closed on last Friday, Tesla revealed its plan for a 3-to-1 stock split in the form of a stock dividend. The company will ask shareholders to vote on this plan at its annual meeting in August. A split doesn't change a company's underlying fundamentals, but it can have meaningful consequences. Just like the last stock split had some really good response from the overall community. So much so that Tesla became a $1 trillion company. Seems incredible compared to any other EV company. Seems incredible compared to any other car company. And in more news, Tesla increases price across the lineup by 2,000 to 6,000. This is incredible, absolutely incredible. And I think this is the best advertisement for Polestar vehicles. I have to say that because if Tesla cars are getting more expensive, then consumers are going to look to other brands such as Polestar. And Polestar is getting their SUV, the Polestar 3, this year. It's been debuted in October and it will be available for order next year, the start of next year. So thanks for the advertisement, Tesla. Now, starting with the Tesla Model 3, the entry version remains at $46,990. However, the long-range version, the all-wheel drive, costs $2,000 more. Now, the price of performance version remains at $62,990. Now, in the case of the Model S and Model X, the increase for long-range all-wheel drive version is respectively between $5,000 to $6,000. The Plaid version, on the other hand, avoids a price increase. And you know, whenever a company increases their price, it's just another way of them telling us that they have too much demand. They've got so much demand that they can increase the price without it being affected, without their market, without their orders being affected. They can make more money without suffering any consequences. That's what Apple does all the time. Now, granted, when Apple does do this, they try to make it seem a little bit more fair. They try to be like, oh, it's because of inflation. Oh, it's because of this, it's because of that. But Tesla, on the other hand, doesn't care about inflation. They're just going to give it to you straight. They're just going to say, listen, it's going to cost you more because we make great cars. And they do. They do. Admittedly, I can admit they do. They make some of the best cars, if not the best cars in the world. Arguably, I think Polestar is building the best cars in the world. Volvo is always known for creating the safest cars in the world, and now Polestar is on it, and we're going to get it, trust me. It's kind of surprising to see an American brand building really good cars. American brands never build good cars, except for maybe Ford. It's controversial to say Ford cars are good, so I don't know about that. But Tesla cars are definitely good, and they're American, so good job, America. But yeah, this price increase, I don't think it's going to affect Tesla at all. I think people are just going to continue to buy, if not buy more. This also means that the already bought cars that are cheaper on market right now, the people who've already bought their car, instantly the value is risen. Because as you know, EV cars, especially Teslas, are really good at holding their value. Even after 2 to 3 years, you can resell the car at a minimal loss, maybe losing 1,000, maybe sometimes 2,000 at the most, if you've taken good care of it. And especially if the car's got low mileage. So if anything, this actually increases the value of the Teslas on the road right now, which is kind of crazy because those cars were bought at a much cheaper price. It's a bizarre world that we live in. One of the reasons why Tesla is doing this is obviously because of the huge amount of cost of lithium. And Elon Musk has stated that he wants to get in this business. He wants Tesla to get involved with the mining business because lithium is just incredibly expensive and it's not slowing down. It's going to get even more expensive. So if Tesla gets involved in this business, they will cut out the middlemen. They would have a much cheaper advantage in the EV market if they do this. This is why I want Geely to do this. I want Geely, Volvo, and Polestar to come together, create a new company to mine lithium cobalt, because it would reduce the cost for them. Seriously, it's just smart business. You got to think long term. In other news, Tesla expands supercharger pilot program for non-Tesla vehicles to 5 more markets. Hold up a minute. Non-Tesla vehicles can charge at selected superchargers in Denmark, Finland, Germany, Luxembourg, and Switzerland via the Tesla app. This is pretty good. People can now start charging non-Tesla vehicles at Tesla charging points. Me personally, I think this is just another way for Tesla to advertise their own company free. It's like, yeah, come on, take your Aldi, take your Mercedes to the Tesla charging point. Because we know Mercedes and Aldi don't have their own charging points, so you can come to ours. Yeah, great advertisement for us. This is how great we are. Seriously, Tesla is genius for doing this. Obviously, I still think that Tesla vehicles will always have the priority at the charging points, and charging points are going to get a lot more expensive, a lot more busy as well. Hey, if the demand is there, the cost is going to go up. Trust me. The reason why petrol is so expensive right now is because there's a huge demand. If the demand fell tomorrow, I can promise you the price will be back down. The price will be dead cheap because there's less demand. That's how the market works. You got to be careful. But it's amazing to see that Tesla is willing to expand into different markets and to allow non-Tesla vehicles to use their charging points. This is great. Now in SpaceX news, Elon Musk says that IPO for SpaceX Starlink satellite internet business is still 3 to 4 years away. Yes. I like this though. I like this because listen, I want to invest in Starlink. I want to invest in SpaceX. But granted, this is not SpaceX's IPO. This is only for their internet company, Starlink, and it makes perfect sense. They're still skeptical on going public with SpaceX because Elon Musk is not a fan of public companies because he thinks it ruins the idea of the company evolving. It slows down innovation. It slows down a lot of things. When you're a publicly owned company, you kind of have to tread lightly. You're publicly owned. That's what it means to be publicly owned, is that you're not the owner anymore. The public owns the company. But when you're a private company, well, you do whatever the hell you want with your company. And that's why SpaceX has been able to innovate in such a quick and challenging space, where they've gotten many backlashes on the way they create their transportation vehicles and the way they intend to use their technology. And if they were a public company, they probably wouldn't have been able to do a lot of these things, which would have held back their great innovation. So yeah, I'm not a fan of SpaceX going public either, but I would love to invest. But I am a fan of the internet business, Starlink, going public, because this business is going to be incredibly big. I can't even explain it to you in human language. No other company in the world is capable of doing this. It's going to give them a huge advantage. And you know, most internet business, they operate in selective areas. In the UK, we've got businesses such as Virgin Media, who provide internet, Sky. We've got a few brands like that. But they're not everywhere. You're probably not going to find them in the United States. There are different companies that do that in the United States. That's how it is all around the world. What SpaceX is going to do is going to provide everyone with incredible internet speed, especially if you live on the road, especially if you live in the country in an area where it's difficult to get internet connection. SpaceX is going to change that. You mark my words. So the latest timeline signals another IPO delay, and it comes despite repeated questions from a variety of investors over the years about owning a piece of SpaceX. And essentially, if you did own a piece of Starlink, you kind of invest in SpaceX because this is a SpaceX business. Owning a piece of SpaceX, but you're investing in a SpaceX business. It's complicated, but it's simple. So Elon Musk last week told SpaceX employees the company isn't likely to take its Starlink satellite business public until 2025 or later. And that's to be expected. Listen, they don't really need the money right now. And they don't need to do that. And they don't need to take the company public right now either. Here's what they want to do. They want to build up this business, get as much satellites into space as possible before they go public. That's going to be a bigger IPO, probably the biggest IPO we've ever seen in human history. And that also means that if they get majority of the controversial work out of the way, people can't really complain anymore because you've already done what they didn't want you to do, even though they're going to invest in the exact company that's going to do what they don't want you to do. It's complicated. The same people who are complaining about how SpaceX operates and how Starlink operates are the same people who are going to want to invest. But when you understand this, like a great CEO like Elon Musk, well, it's quite easy to anticipate this and thus delay an IPO for 5 years. Thank you, Elon. So that's my video on this subject. On this subject, we've talked about a lot of things. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to see more, and I will see you in my next video.